Move on to another early game with playoff implications. It's the Raiders and the Colts. Raiders holding on to hope there at 8-7. They've got a chance if they can play their way in. If they can win the last two games, they should be in. And you got the Colts, who are, look, playing one of the best brands of football in the league since the end of September. They're probably not going to win the division because all that stuff has to happen, and that's a lot. So they're probably going to end up going on the road wild card weekend, but nobody wants to play this team.
Yeah, you're right, and I wrote about them in my power rankings this week, and I referenced a story from the summer when an NFL coach told me, he said, you know, there's some theory out there being bandied around that it might not be the best to be a division winner, but it might be the best to be a team that gets hot at the right time.
Bucs did it last year.
Correct, and we've seen it play out a couple different times over the course of the last decade. So maybe the Colts are that team. I mean, they're built because they can run the ball, they're physical. I still worry about how well they rush the passer, and that's a concern of mine when you play the good passing teams. But if you can run the ball the way they've been running it, hey, they ran it with backups last week. That was a backup offensive line. They still ran the football. Carson Wentz's status is interesting here with the COVID. Will he be off? Will he be on? I think he's going to play. But I still think the Raiders are going to hang around in this game. I think they will find a way. The Colts have played a lot of really big games lately, and sometimes that drains you emotionally, and I think this might be one of those games where the Raiders hang around. I think the Colts will find a way to win the game, but I'm going to take the Raiders in the points.
You know, the COVID status for Carson Wentz really is the biggest key here. I mean, that's if you're giving out betting advice, you'd say wait until you can be assured that he will be behind center. Although that being said, Pete, I would ask you this. Is it the worst thing if he's not there? It almost forces the Colts to then have to hand off to Jonathan Taylor even more, which is probably a good thing. And it's not like the Raiders are necessarily the most stout against the run. So I do think there's an opportunity here, even if Wentz doesn't play, for the Colts to win. But to your point, you know, it allows the Raiders, I think, to hang around. Probably not as scared of any big playability of Sam Ehlinger's coming in there as a rookie quarterback, stepping into those shoes. So I'm betting that Wentz plays in this case. That's why I'm laying the 7.5 points. Don't feel great about it, but I think you'll see scoring from both teams on this one, that enough to hit over at sitting at 45 at this moment. But it really comes down to whether or not Wentz plays. If he does, I'm laying the 7.5. Hate the hook, but that's the reality of it. I've got to pick this early in the week, so I'll gladly do it because I just think they're a better team at this point in time, and no one's really been able to stop Jonathan Taylor, and I don't think the Raiders can.
If the Colts win, they are in the playoffs. They would clinch a playoff spot with a victory. Sportsline giving the Raiders just a 24% chance to make the playoffs. But if they win their last two games, Indianapolis and then against the Chargers, the Vegas Raiders are in.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.